Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new deck profile. Now, today we are profiling Zefras, with some cards being released in the Link Rains pack such as Heavy Metal Foes, Electrum and Crystalline Needle Fiber. This deck, I've been finding a lot of success playing it, especially a more stun variant, but also just being able to combine a lot of engines and toolboxes and different stuff. The deck can do a lot of cookie stuff essentially, and that's really strong because the deck has enough stun to go first, and it has enough ways of outing stuff to go second. It also drops some big beaters on the field, has pretty good access to good synchros, and also it is able to establish some nice boards. Before anything else, side deck is up to preference. This is just some of the things that I would definitely consider playing. Ash Blossom is really good, but I like playing Ghost Ogre in this variant more. But you can always play Ash Blossom. System Downs, against the ABC. Wavering Eyes for the Pendulum Mirror match. Your Twin Twists for the Paleo matchup. And your Dimension Ability for pretty much like any ritual deck or like any deck that uses pendulums or something. So yeah, now onto the main deck. We play triple Zefra. This is the main guy you want to have in your scale, and you have 9 ways of searching him plus himself. So what I mean by this is that terraforming can give you access to Oracle of Zefra, and Oracle of Zefra can search your Zefrath. Zefra Providence adds any Zefra card from your deck to your hand, so you can go straight into Zefrath, or you can go into from Providence to Oracle, and from Oracle to Zefrath. This thins your deck a little bit, and also ends up giving you your Oracle Zefra, as well as having a Zefra Providence in the graveyard. So yeah, so his effect reads: you can in the Pendulum scale, you can put one monster from your deck into the extra deck, so a Pendulum monster, any Zefra monster, and then he copies that scale, and his other effect is if he's in the extra deck and you control at least 3 Zefra monsters, you can tribute them all and then special summon this card, and then when you do that, you can conduct a pendulum summon in addition to your normal pendulum summon. So it's like it's basically like Brilliant Fusion but for pendulum summoning in a way. And then his final effect is once per turn you can tribute 1 monster and special summon 1 Zefra monster from your deck. So that's really good, because you can tribute things like your Astrograph Sorcerer, and then special summon like any of your Zefras. Then we play the triple Astrograph Sorcerer. The deck does enough self-destruction that it's worth running Sorcerer for, and then he replenishes your hand from the deficit when you destroy stuff. So for example, when you play Zefra War, if you like destroy one of your cards, it will trigger Astrograph Sorcerer, and then you can slam this on the field. He's a Pendulum, 2500 attack, synergizes really good, really well with the deck. We play the Wonder Strudo. I've seen OCG builds play Wonder Strudo. Some people play Dragon's Ravine, but in my opinion, you don't really have to, because you can, as long as you have Oracle Zefra, when you synchro, you can put this on top of your deck and then go into Charge Warrior and draw this. And he's really good because he gives you access to any rank 7 synchro. And that's really important. Just really quickly, I forgot to add Chao Feng. That's what I was missing from this build, because I was playtesting with just like, instead of using Zephyrs and stuff, just Yangzing Zephyr, not like pure quote unquote. But that's for a different video. So yeah, we play the Wonder Strudo. Paying that many life points is sort of costly, but we can go into Ancient Fairy Dragon, and that's really powerful. But he's also like a nice body on the field, and he's pretty good. So you don't need to run him like 2 or 3, just the one of will do it. So yeah. Then we play triple Zefrinu. This is by far the best, after Zefrath, by far the best Zefra. So when this card is pendulum summoned or when it's destroyed, you can add any Yangzing or Zefra spell card from your deck to your hand. So that's really good because you can switch off your 9 pillars, you can switch off These two you can search off Chosen, you can search Zefra Divine Strike, Zefra War, majority of your monsters. So this guy's like what gets you going. And a combo that I like to do is using Zefrath to use and then use Zefrath's effect to put this on the extra deck, and then make this scale 7, and then pendulum summon this to trigger off its effect. It's one of like your bread and butter combos that you should be aiming to do. We play double Zefraxa. This card is good because it's similar to Astrograph Sorcerer, where if you destroy one of your own cards, one Zefra on a cross card, you can special summon this. But the best part about this is it can also be done from the graveyard. So that's really cool. We play the one Shadal Zefra Core. This guy is mainly used as like a high skill that you can pendulum summon, and then when you pendulum summon this, you can you can special summon a card from your pendulum zone. So you can do you can pendulum summon Zefra Core and then special summon Zefraxi, and then use Zefraxi's effect to make this a tuner, and then go into a level 7 tuner, such as Ancient Fairy, Black Rose, or Yazi. So that's like another play you can go for. We play the one Stellanizer Zephyr Thuban. He's okay since when this card is normal flip or pendulum, you target one Talonite or Zephyr card, and then one face-up card your opponent controls and destroy both of them. You can easily bump this up to 2 because it gets you going by triggering off things like your Astrograph Sorcerer, and it also has like a good pop effect. So it's definitely worth running at 2. We play the one Zephyr Wendy. So when this card is normal or pendulum, you add a Zephyr from the extra deck to the hand. So like you get the search off the extra deck. Other than that, she's a level 3, which combos nicely with Zefraxi to make her a tuner, and then go into a 6, such as Charge Warrior. She also has decent attack, and she's a high scale. Then I would probably say like the second best Zefra, Zefraxi. So when this card is pendulum or special summoned, you target one Yangzing or Zefra monster you control, and then make that monster a tuner. And then place it on the bottom of the deck when it leaves the field. So that's pretty good, because if it would be banished, you can instead just place it on the bottom of your deck. Move on to 2 Zefra Pelika, whatever you want to call her. So she's basically like a what'd you call it? A monster reborn. So when this card is normal or pendulum summon, you target one ritual beast or Zephyr monster in your graveyard, and then special summon it but destroy it during the end phase. That's an okay effect. You can probably play this at 1 and it wouldn't hurt you that much, because most of your Zephyr cards are searchable. But that's about it. Yeah. Oh, and she's a low scale, so you can use Zefrath. We played double Ghost Ogre. Again, I like using Ghost Ogre better because like the destruction effect feels nicer than just the negation. Because like, so basically if you read Ash Blossom, it says during end of place turn, when a card or effect is activated that includes one of these effects, discard this card and negate the effect. So like searching, special summoning, sent from deck to grave, right? But it doesn't actually destroy, it just negates. So if it's a monster, it'll negate its effect, but it won't be destroyed. While Ghost Ogre doesn't negate, but it destroys. And this is especially important against like continuous spells, field spells, like big boss monsters that can be destroyed. It's a lot more useful, in my opinion. So I prefer playing Ghost Ogre. And then we play 2 Xiwen. Xiwen is really nice in this deck. So when this guy controls destroyed by battle card effect, you can send to the graveyard, you special summon a Yangzing, and then if the you can special summon one Yangzing monster from your deck except Xiwen. Yes, so that's the first effect. When a Yangzing monster you control is destroyed by battle or card effect and sent to the graveyard, while this card is in your graveyard, you can special summon this card, and if you do, banish it when it leaves the field. Now, I really like this card because it combos really well with Yazi. So what you can do is use Yazi's effect to target himself and destroy himself, destroy one card your opponent controls. And then Yazi's second effect will trigger, allowing you to special summon a worm type monster from your deck, and then Shiwen will trigger, allowing special summoning himself, allowing you to go into a second Yazi. Um, so that's just really really nice. So it floats really well with this deck. And then spells in the spell lineup is pretty simple. You play triple terraforming, triple providence, and triple oracle. Terraforming searches out oracle, and providence searches out any card, any Zefra, so it can be monster, spell, or trap. The second effect is if a Zefra card would be destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead. So you always want to have one of these in the grave. And then play the triple Oracle Zefra. So when this card is activated, you add a Zefra monster, and when a Zefra and then depending on the type of Zefra monster, you special summon. No. When you special summon using Zefra monsters as materials, you can use one of these effects depending on the monster you summon. So if you ritual summon using Zefra monsters, you can shuffle one monster on the field into the deck. Fusion, you can special summon one monster from the hand. Synchro, the most relevant, you choose one monster from the deck and place it on top of your deck. And then Xyz, you draw one card and discard one card. So most of the time we're going to go for the Synchro ability, since even though the Ritual is like one of the best because it's non-targeting removal, the Synchro just allowing you to like shuffle your deck and then place whatever you want on top of it, and then draw with Charge Warrior is amazing. Onto the spells and traps. Onto the traps. We play double Zefra Wall. 3 is too much, but 2 is just enough. Basically, if you have 2 Zefra cards in your Pendulum Zones, you can activate this from the hand, and this effect is you target one monster you control, you target one Zefra card you control, and one card your opponent controls, and destroy both of them. So this is basically like removal in your hand as long as you have 2 Pendulum Scales. It's like a 1-for-1, and it's really powerful. Because this is a Zefra deck, we play one Chosen of Zefra. This card gains effect depending on the number of face-up Zefra monsters with different names in your extra deck. So if you have 3 monsters you control gain 100 attack for each face-up in the extra deck. 5 monsters you control cannot be destroyed by an opponent's card effect. 8 monsters you control cannot be targeted, and 10 you can send this card to the graveyard. Shuffle all cards from your opponent's hand, field, and graveyard into the deck. So let's look how many unique Zephyrs we play. We play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we can trigger the monsters you control. If you want to get this effect off, where you can like shuffle everything into the deck, you can perhaps play. Other good options are Zefraxiton, he's really good, and Zefranaga, and then you'll basically be playing all of them. But I feel like Zefranaga doesn't have a good enough effect to be worth playing, because it basically like you target one card in either place Pendulum Zone and return it to the hand. Even though that's really good against Pendulum, since you'll disrupt the Pendulum Scales, it's definitely more of like a extra deck, like a side deck card, so you can take like a Twin Twister and put this in, and then for the Pendulum matchup you can slide it in, and then the other one worth running would be Zefraxiton. This works similarly to Zephyr, but it's a high scale, and it has to destroy a set card, which isn't as good as a face-up card. It's useful sometimes, but not as good. But yeah, that has been my Zefra deck profile. If you guys enjoy it, don't forget to leave a like, and until then, I'll see you in the next one.